Hey there, welcome to the Herbal Moon Goddess podcast. My name's Kyra, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some daily success habits for spiritual entrepreneurs. I really feel like mornings are they're such an important time of the day. Like, I've spoken about morning rituals a lot on the Herbal Moon Goddess podcast before, but I'm such a firm believer that how you start your day has a flow-on effect to the rest of your day. I used to think I was a night person, and I used to think I was more productive at midnight, 1 a.m. That's when I would do my best work. But I've actually totally changed my life around, and I would now say I'm definitely more of a morning person. If it's not done before midday, I generally, it's the chances of it getting done are quite low now for me personally. So mornings are so important. Use your mornings to plan and find clarity for your day ahead for what you need to grow your business for that day. So to help you, I've actually created some worksheets for you to download and print. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this on the screen. If you're listening to the audio version only, I'm holding up a piece of paper that pretty much guides you through a daily ritual. This is based on my own daily journaling ritual where I'm going to guide you through this shortly anyway. I made you guys a gift. If you'd like to download your daily journal printable worksheets, just jump on down into the show notes for the download link. It's going to really change how you start your day, so you can start your day feeling high vibe and have that beautiful flow-on effect throughout the rest of your day and your business. So before we dive into how exactly to craft your daily high vibe ritual, your success habits, I'd like to invite you to the 2022 round of the Soul Aligned Business Mastermind. We're starting on the 1st of April 2022. It's a 6-month journey for business owners, or even if you're just thinking about starting a business. I'm going to be walking you through the steps to launch and grow your business in a way that's aligned with your soul's purpose. It's really, my biggest aim is to help you make money. That's really what it comes down to. Doing what you were born to do, making money, doing what you're actually born to do based on your astrology chart. You get one-on-one sessions where I help you discover exactly what it is that you were born to do in this lifetime, and then I give you all the steps to make that happen. We cover things like how to grow a large following on or off social media. We're talking about things like daily success habits. Like what we're talking about today is, a little sneak peek into one of the modules in the Soul Aligned Business Mastermind. We're also covering things like how to become an expert in your niche, how to up-level your sales and marketing skills, and so many other things. You get 12 fortnightly group calls, group lessons with me and your mastermind buddies, as well as 3 one-on-one sessions where I can give you that personalized guidance to help you really move forward confidently. So if you're interested in growing your business this year, if you know you need to make more sales, if you know that you need to grow a larger following, or really just get more visible with your business, I'm here to help you. Click the link in the show notes below to enroll for the 2022 intake of the Soul Aligned Business Mastermind. So daily success habits for spiritual entrepreneurs, that's what we're talking about today. So before we go into what it is that you need to do to raise your vibe and start your mornings feeling really clear and positive and stuff, I'd like you to first up notice, what is your current mornings looking like? What are you currently doing as part of your morning ritual or routine, and how does that make you feel? I'd really like you to just think about that right now. Think about the things that you're doing in the mornings. Maybe, you wake up and you're lying in bed, checking emails, scrolling Facebook. Maybe you get up and you stumble your way to the kitchen and grab a coffee, and then you might scroll Facebook. Or maybe it's something else. Just notice what it is that you're doing in the mornings and how does that make you feel? How does it make you feel? How is your current morning ritual serving you? So once we notice what doesn't make us feel good, then we know what we need to transform in our mornings. Okay, we want to cut out these habits that are really, killing our productivity and bringing our vibes down. If you're starting your day feeling quite low vibe, it can be difficult to shift that energy. Like I feel like, sleep just really resets us and refreshes us before we wake up for the next day, and then we have like a clean slate to work on. So if we start our day feeling high vibe, then those high vibes will have a flow-on effect through the rest of the day. So this is why I'm so adamant about starting your day feeling high vibe, because it does really have a huge impact on the rest of your life, including your business. So we want to weed out the things that don't make you feel good. So some ideas for you to start your day off feeling high vibe, some ideas for you to raise your vibe in the mornings are things like meditation, yoga, exercise, diffusing essential oils, and also being mindful about what you're consuming in the mornings. But I'm going to talk about that in a second, the consumption part. But really raising your vibe, like honestly, the best days I have are when I do wake up a little bit early so that I have that time to do my yoga, to meditate, to do some exercise. And by the time I've done that, like that is better than a cup of coffee. Like honestly, like that 30 minutes of exercise is just, it's magic. It really is. So that could be something for you to contemplate adding in to your ritual. Like that movement, getting your body moving really raises your vibes, and it has an amazing effect on your energy levels through the rest of the day. Like you might think that, getting up at 6 a.m. to go for a 30-minute jog or walk, that's just going to make me feel so tired for the rest of the day. Actually, I found in my own personal experience, the opposite is true. When I do that, when I do get up early and I exercise in the mornings, I have a lot of energy for the rest of the day. So exercise, exercise, exercise. It will do wonders for your entire health as well. So definitely add in some exercise. If you don't do any exercise, do that exercise in your mornings. Like you wake up and you just go for a 30-minute walk or jog or swim or whatever it is, 30 minutes of yoga. It will really change your whole day. And while you're doing that, you can multitask. You might like to listen to a podcast, or maybe you're doing an online course. You can listen to an online course while you're doing it. And like, depending on what you choose, obviously try to choose something high vibe. For a while, I was cycling on like a stationary exercise bike in the mornings, and I was listening to Denise Duffield-Thomas. I was listening to her online courses, and she teaches money mindset. And so I was starting my day cycling along, and I just had Denise's positivity just raising my vibes in the mornings, and it just shifted so much in my life. It was incredible how this morning ritual really changed my life during that period of time. So exercise is absolutely amazing. So like I said, consumption, be mindful of what you're consuming in the mornings. What we consume can either raise or lower our vibes, right? So perhaps you're someone who wakes up and you need 3 cups of coffee before you can even, feel awake. If that's you, have a think about how that coffee is affecting you. Do you think that's really serving you, or is it maybe something that's kind of niggling at you that maybe you should be consuming a bit less coffee because you're maybe noticing its effects on the rest of your body? For me, I know when I consume too much coffee and regularly, it really disrupts my hormones. My cortisol levels just skyrocket, which has a flow-on effect through the rest of my hormones. I end up breaking out in acne, and it disrupts my sleep. Like for me personally, I'm quite sensitive to caffeine. And so I know that, maximum 2 coffees, if I have any more than that, it's not good. Plus caffeine, that's a whole nother conversation. But being mindful of what you're consuming. You may like to start off your day consuming something that's going to raise your vibe, like a green juice, a herbal tea, or maybe even some ceremonial cacao. If you do need something that's a bit stimulating, cacao has minimal caffeine compared to coffee, but it's still quite stimulating. I think it's the theobromine in cacao. It kind of acts as like a slow release sort of stimulant. So that could be something for you to consider as well. But yeah, just being really mindful of what you're consuming to start your day. And then of course, starting your day with a healthy, nutritious breakfast. What you eat, like you are what you eat, like literally. So being mindful about what you're eating. You may want to consider changing up what you're eating as part of your breakfast, because maybe the breakfast foods that you're choosing aren't raising your vibe. They're lowering your vibe and making you feel bad. So just noticing what you're currently doing in the mornings and how that's affecting you. Like that's really what I'm getting at here. So what I'm trying to get at here, daily success habits for spiritual entrepreneurs. I'm kind of dividing this into 2 parts. The first part is raising your vibe. Start of your morning, just jump out of bed, raise your vibe, however that plays out for you. I've given you heaps of suggestions. The next part is all about finding clarity for the day ahead. And that's where your free printable worksheet that I made for you comes into play. So you don't necessarily have to use this worksheet. You may like to pick and choose, the things that I'm suggesting. But the things that I do to help me find clarity for the day ahead, 1, I'll look at the moon and, figure out the moon phase, the moon sign. I do this by looking at my free moon manifesting calendar. You'll find a link to download that in the show notes, by the way. And that just pretty much tells you each day the phase of the moon, what zodiac sign the moon is in, and how to use that energy. So there's, some energies are the best for certain activities. So for example, right now the moon is in Leo. Leo has a very creative energy, very confident energy. So when the moon's in Leo, it can be a good day to maybe work on creative projects, or you might like to channel that confidence to step out of your comfort zone to do something. Like maybe you need to talk to someone about something, or share your work, share something that you've been working on. So looking at the moon just really helps me tune into the energy of the day. Something else that I'll look at is whether the moon is void of course that day. I've talked a lot about the void of course moon and what that means on the podcast before. You'll find that in episode 33. If you've got no idea what I'm talking about, I highly suggest you check that out, because that's really going to change your life. The void of course moon is something that's really quite an important part of my daily life. So when the moon is void of course, I'll generally take that time away from my work, because I know that those are the times when I'm not going to be feeling as productive. It's a time when, often things just don't go to plan. So I just usually just take that time off, and I use that to help me find a better work-life balance. So the void of course moon time, definitely check that out each day as part of your daily ritual. You'll find that the moon does go void of course every 2 to 3 days. So sometimes it's only for a few minutes. Sometimes it can last for like up to 24 hours or even longer. So it is something to definitely look into and just notice how you feel during those times. So I also look at the astrology for each day. So on your little worksheet, you'll find a little space for today's horoscope. So whether you're like looking at the transits in the sky, if you know about astrology, or maybe you have an astrology app that you can just check into, I don't really mind. Check out your horoscope. It's just all about finding out the energy for the day. I find that like peeking into the spiritual realm, so whether that's astrology or you may also like to pull a tarot or oracle card for the day, and there's a space there for that as well on your printable worksheet. I find that really helps you just tune in to the energy of the day, like what sort of activities are going to be best for the day. It's quite funny because often you might have something in mind for the day, and then you'll look at the moon, you'll look at the stars, you look at your tarot cards, and often it's all quite in alignment. Or, some days, the moon might be void, of course, all day, and you might get a tarot card that suggests something like, stepping back, like you might pull the Hermit or something. And, that's kind of telling you like today, the energy of today is best for you to retreat and meditate and just take some time off from your day-to-day work. So peeking into the energy of your day really helps you connect to your spiritual practices, but it also helps you really align with that cosmic energy. So you're really going with the flow of the universe rather than having your own agenda and just trying to push things through. And I find that when you try to push against that cosmic energy, you're often met with all these obstacles. Things just don't go to plan. This is why I do this now, why I really tune into the astrology and the moon and everything before I start my day, because it does make a difference. When I listen to those messages coming through from the universe, coming through from spirit, then it really does make a huge difference to how the rest of my day plays out. So once you've kind of, tapped into that spiritual side of your morning ritual, some other things that I love to do as part of my morning ritual, I love to just think of a few things that I'm feeling really grateful for. Gratitude is such an amazing way to raise your vibe. Like if you're feeling quite low and you're dwelling on all the negative things in your life, a real easy way to shift that energy is to think of all the positive things in your life. So this is where gratitude really comes into play, by thinking of the things that you're really thankful for that you have in your life. And, you can, think about like, I'm, grateful for fresh air. I'm thankful for being alive today. But while those things are all really nice, if you can go really specific into some specific things that are quite current and present in your life, I feel like that really raises the power of this gratitude exercise. So you might be sitting there one morning and you might have a few clients booked in for the day. Well, you could be really grateful that you have those clients who are booked in, because you may remember a time when you were really struggling to get clients. So being grateful for something really sends out a clear message to the universe that yes, you're really thankful for this being in your life, and yes, you want more, please. So gratitude can be a really powerful thing to add into your morning rituals. Something else that I love to add in is a little affirmation, and often I'll come back to the affirmation throughout the day and repeat that to myself. I often keep my journals open for the day, depending on the day that it is, so that my to-do list and my affirmation and everything else is there, and I'm constantly, well, not constantly, but I frequently will check in with that to stay on track with my goals for the day, but also to, stay on track with that affirmation, keep that in front of my mind, as well as all the other things that I write down in my morning rituals. So yeah, an affirmation, it can be just something that, you just make up on the day. You may have some affirmation oracle cards that you use, or you may have your own way of coming up with affirmations. So then pretty much the final thing I do as part of my morning ritual is I write out a to-do list. And I have a space here on the printable worksheets for you to write out your own to-do list as well. So on my to-do list, I try to keep it to like maybe under 10 items. I find that if I have too much things on my to-do list, then by the end of the day, you know, I may have only ticked off a few things and I'll feel quite bad. And, you know, I will often put a lot of pressure on myself. And so if that's you, if you're finding that you're putting too much pressure on yourself, like, you know, you have high expectations of just how much you can get done in a day, try simplifying your to-do list. Just try picking out the most important things that you need to do for the day. It may also help if you just go through your to-do list after you write it out and number it in order of priorities. So what item on your to-do list is your number one priority? Write a little one next to it. And there might be, you know, you can go through and number the whole list, or maybe just pick out the top 3 things that you want to do today that must get done today. And then once they're done, move on to those other things. Some days on the to-do list, like I'll often put in like some quick and easy little things, and then there'll be other bigger tasks that might take up, you know, a few hours to actually do. And I find that this method works quite well because I get like an instant, like, you know, mood boost whenever I tick off a task. So if I have some little quick and easy things and I'm really struggling to do some tasks on my to-do list, I might just quickly pop over to another task, a quick and easy thing to do, get that done and out of the way, tick, it's done. I feel better about myself, and then I can move on to some of those harder tasks. So yeah, having that to-do list though, in the first place, just really brings so much clarity. I feel like sometimes my life is just a never-ending to-do list. So like I have my daily to-do list, but I also have like a master to-do list. I use Asana.com, which is pretty much like a project management tool. And I have heaps and heaps and heaps of things on my to-do list in Asana, which is really, it's an amazing tool because you can set things up to be recurring. So I have things that I do like every week in my business. And so, you know, I tick it off one week and it just automatically rolls over to the next week, such as filming my podcast. I generally do this each week, or I might, you know, film a few episodes one week and then I'll skip it for a few weeks or whatever. But like there's certain tasks that you'll probably find that you're doing each week in your business. So having like that master to-do list of recurring things that need to happen each week can be a really good way to keep yourself organized. But yeah, to-do lists. I feel like when you have some goals in your mind and then you break those goals down into those action steps you need to take, and then you think, okay, I'm going to do this action step today. I'm going to do this next action step in a few days' time. I'm going to do that next action step next week. And that way you're constantly making these little steps of progress towards those bigger goals. So having a to-do list is an absolute game changer. If you are not starting your day with a to-do list, I highly recommend that you do, because it will really boost your productivity, and it will keep you on task. Instead of feeling like, oh, you know, I've got all these things to do, and you're feeling really scattered in your brain because you have like a list of a billion things going on up here. If you write it out, you can just really simplify your life and it doesn't feel so messy in your brain. You can focus on one task at a time, tick that off, come back. Oh yeah, that's right. That's the next thing I've got to do. You go away and do that. So to-do list, absolutely really powerful. So once you've done that, once you've gone through your morning ritual, you've raised your vibe perhaps through exercise, meditation, yoga, you've had something mindful to consume, whether that's a high vibe beverage or a high vibe breakfast to start your day. And then you've got that clarity for your day ahead by looking at like the astrology, tarot, as well as having that clarity from your to-do list. Once you've got all that, dive in and tackle your to-do list. To be completely honest, what often happens for me is I'll, come into my office to do my morning rituals, and I'll still be in my pajamas, by the way. And I will do like probably half of my day's work while I'm still in my pajamas. And then, maybe 10, 11 o'clock, I'll eventually be like, yeah, I'll go have a shower and do my makeup and get dressed for the day. But to be honest, that's what my business often looks like. Unless I have like face-to-face sort of things, if I'm seeing clients, I will do most of my work in my pajamas. But that's because I'm in the zone. I feel like on task and motivated. I've got my to-do list, so I feel really clear on what I need to do. And so I just jump in and do it. And I find there's no better time to do it than the present. So when when you have that clarity and you know what you need to do, don't procrastinate, you just jump in and do it. And that is probably the best daily success habit that I can share with you today. Is just jump in and tackle your to-do list. Jump in and do that next thing on your list. And then you just keep moving forward. Don't procrastinate, just do it. So I hope that today's episode has been really inspiring and motivating to help you start off your day by raising your vibe and then finding clarity on what it is that you need to do to move your business forward for the day, and then just jumping in and tackling it. If you want more of this juicy goodness for raising your vibes and growing your business, don't forget the 2022 intake of the Soul Aligned Business Mastermind is now on. Doors are closing on the 1st of April. So if you know you need more sales, if you know you need to work on your marketing, if you know that you're feeling unaligned with your soul's purpose and you really want to add more meaning into the work that you're doing, you need to join this mastermind. This is, it will absolutely transform not only your business, but it will totally transform you as a person too, as I guide you to evolving to your higher potential. So I'd love to see you in the mastermind if that's something you're called to do. You're going to find all the links that I've mentioned in today's episode in the show notes below, the link to enroll in the Soul Aligned Biz Mastermind, the link to download your free printable worksheet, as well as the free moon manifesting calendar, as well as the complete show notes for today's episode. I always type out quite a lengthy blog post to accompany each podcast. And as I'm typing it out, I often add in extra bits and pieces. So be sure to go check that out if you really want to dive a bit deeper into today's episode. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast episode, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.